expert authority world. What are you doing with your money? You may have heard me speaking with Jerry on gold and silver on the last episode, and if not, be sure to check it out. But have you ever considered trading? You have the profits from your business, but what are you doing with them? This is an important step, and that's why I was saying I'm bringing more financial literacy and training to you. So today we're going to be talking about trading, the importance of it, how easy it is for you to do it, why you should be doing it, and how it's going to level the playing field. That's why I'm excited to have CEO Rosetta Bryson on today's episode. I'm going to bring her up right after we thank our sponsor. Every business needs a book, including yours. Visit freebusinessbookpublishingcourse.com today to learn the 7 steps to publish and promote your nonfiction lead and profit-generating business book in 8 weeks. Once again, that's freebusinessbookpublishingcourse.com. Here she is, ladies and gentlemen, CEO of Simple Trader Pro, Rosetta Bryson. Rosetta, how are you feeling today?
I am great. How are you?
I'm feeling excited. How are you?
What an honor to be here. Thank you for allowing me to come and share today. Just very honored.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm excited to hear what you have to say because, like I was saying in the introduction, there's so many people that have successful businesses, and it's like, okay, you have the profits, you've done something in business, but marketing, sales, and all this stuff is really a business thing. Now, money and finances are a business thing too, but what do you do outside of them? How do you leverage this? How do you build that generational wealth? So why don't you take us down that road and why you even got into trading?
I got into trading for a lot of different reasons. And I just want to say this first. I think most people think trading are for traders or Wall Street institutional traders, and they just think that's too big for them to think about, but it really isn't. I think everyone who is a titan in business, doctors, lawyers, ballers, shot callers, Indian chiefs, what they do is they make this money and then they hand it to somebody they do not know with no credentials and tell them to invest it. They invest it and tell you what you're going to get back on your money, like maybe 5 to 7% per year when they're making gazillions off of your money. And so one of the things that I try to teach people, Mario, is that if you could just spend a little time with me or people like me, you would know what to do, because a lot of people are like, I'm not a trader, I'm an investor. But this is what I do know. Trading makes you a better investor because you'll know without having to ask anybody what is moving, what's not moving, what's long-term, what's short-term, and it just changes your life. So as you can see, I'm very excited about it. It's my passion in life. And because of that passion, I've built a business.
What inspired you to start the whole process? Did you have a lot of financial literacy growing up, or is it something you discovered along the way?
I have zero financial literacy growing up. Zero. We were a middle-class family in Kansas City, Missouri. We were children of a Marine father and a homestay maker mother who worked wherever she could get a job. And I have 2 major things that I think changed me. The first one was that we were not giving access. So I'm big on access. And I really speak a lot for people who are like me, brown and Black people of color, who just have not been given access. We were, because of my dad being a Marine, we dropped into this neighborhood where we were the only Black family on the block for literally 20 years, no other Black family. And so there was some access given to some that was not given to others. They just assumed nobody in my family wanted to go to college. They assumed no one was equipped. And so they never gave us the same access as other people. In other words, when it was time for me to go to college, no one even talked about it to me. They talked to all the students around me, but no one. So I just sort of, make my way. And before that, my mother took this small jobs. There was a group of people who worked for a company called Marion Laboratories in Kansas City. It was a small pharma company, and she cleaned. after work. And so sometimes she dragged me along. And so I would go along. And my job was just to go through all the bathrooms, male and female, pull the trash bags, and she would do the rest. And one day she said, come to this office. She was the only one that got to go clean this office. She said, this is the CEO's office. And it was huge. It was bigger than our whole house. And I was like, well, what kind of CEO is this? Well, it turns out to be, his name was Ewing Kaufman, and he owned the Kansas City Royals. And when his company went public, it made 300 people millionaires. Back then, that was a big deal. And I was like, well, if he can do it, I can do it. That was my thing, because no one just ever, I was like, well, this is what this looks like. I have to get here. Long story short, I ended up going to DC for school, put myself through school, which is another story. I put myself through undergraduate, paid my own undergraduate. I was working full time. We weren't the family that just had money to send people to school. There was no education on finance, but I'm such a big mouth talking in my political science class that one day the class was asked to go down and meet the mayor. And I went down and meet the mayor. I was running my big mouth. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? He said, you with the big mouth, you should run for student government president. And I just polluted him eye, because this is the one class that I took that I liked. And as I worked 40 hours, 18 years old. And guess what? When I got back, the teacher said, you should do what he said, run for student government president. And she said this, she said, the student government president gets their tuition paid. And so I was like, but nobody knows me on this campus because I am the student who works. So I found the most good looking guy on campus that all the girls liked. I found a Korean guy that was good at math. It was in my math class. And I found another guy that I just happened to know. I said, listen, you're going to be the chief of arms. If we do this and we win, we don't have to pay for school. And that's how my undergraduate got paid for.
Wow, good for you.
And yes, but
I'm hearing some leadership in there and team building.
Lots of leader work. I mean, before diversity was even a thing, I had diversity up. And I knew that there was more girls than guys. And this one guy, his name is Dave, my good friend now, he's a lawyer. I said, Dave, this is what I need you to do. I need you to go to school for free. Let's do this thing. And so that happened. And then the school was so crazy. You know, we were shutting down the school, no justice, no peace. So it's always been in me. And so I ended up graduating from there, went to Emory University, where I got my Master of Divinity. And Emory, because Emory at that time had this dual program where you could go to law and divinity school at the same time, only one in the country. So I was like, that's my area. And what happened was I went to Emory is the Harvard of the South. So we went to Emory. I went by myself, no family. I'm sorry, all these families passed me. They're like, go to the gym. This is when they used to register you. I went to the gym, this huge gym. I'd never seen anything like it because the University of the District of Columbia is a HBCU. And I'm now in this big money place. And they're like, go to the gym. And when I passed the gym, I'm like, passing the squash and the golf all inside this gym, the 7 pools. I'm like, what is this? And then they said, let me see your paperwork. And so they would send the people with the family and the kids and the, the books, and they'd send them on this line. And they looked at my paperwork and said, you go to that line. My line was much slower. The line with the family and the kids, you had people just whipping out their, black card and paying it off. And, their kids were happy. They were taking tours. And, we were latchkey, so it was no big deal to me. But I was in the line, what I call sign your life away line, where you signed away your tuition, the dorms, any books. Before I ever took a class, I had signed my life away. And I thought to myself at that moment, which is interesting, I'm in the wrong line. And how do I get from this line that I'm in to that line? And if it's not me, how do I make sure that none of my children or children's children ever have to be in this line? Why can't we be in that line? And what were my parents doing that we were not in that line? So that was the light bulb moment for me to say I'm in the wrong line. And from there, my life changed.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah.
I can't relate to that 100%, but it's kind of surreal you're saying this because I wrote about that in my newest book on book publishing, talking about the positioning and, whether it's the airport, the school, your example, the school line, the lunch line, the this line, that line, there's always, you could be at an amusement park,
Yes.
anywhere, and it's like, just by standing there, you just feel like, and I've stood in all of them, and it's like there's
Yes.
certain ones I like a lot more too. And you know what I mean? When you're at the gym and it sounds like conservatively, this gym was bigger than the CEO's office.
Oh my, this gym, I just call it money, cha-ching. It just was money. I'd never seen anything like it. And the middle of campus, just huge, and for somebody like
It's awe
me,
inspiring,
I just,
isn't it?
it
You see
is.
these
And I was just
buildings, you
like,
see these
what?
museums, the schools, and you know, I I can really relate to that because it sounds like we both have the same background. We're
Yes.
basically colleagues because we're like we're here, we don't like it, and we want to be here in the future.
And yes,
Pretty much.
and nothing's wrong with that. And nothing's
Not
wrong
one
with that.
bit.
Yeah.
I like the new lines. I like going through the new lines in three or
Yeah.
4 minutes instead of an hour and a half.
What? So tell me what the line is. And I came out of undergraduate debt free. I came out of Emory, full of debt. And I just was like, how am I ever going to pay this debt off? And while I was there, but I'd always be interested in stocks. I used to work. I was a temp in DC. I made more temping. I made about $100,000 in the 80s temping because I could type and say Goldstein and Braun, on the phone. And temping as I was going to school. So then I was just like, I'm seeing how big business works. I'm seeing what papers people are reading, the Daily Business Journal, the Wall Street Journal. So I would
Mm-hmm.
look at it and I was like, well, what's up with this? Is before everything was computerized. What's up with corn, bean, lumber? What's up with coffee and oranges? So I, immediately took a liking to it, but I didn't understand it. When I got to Emory, met a colleague and he said, listen, he said, you're like, I'm reading the paper one day, because when people, this is before COVID, people would drop the part of the paper they didn't look at. They always dropped the finance stock. So I would always take it and look at it. And he was like, you like that? I said, I love it. And it's what I really want to do. And he said, my father owns a small hedge fund. You should come and intern. And that was a life-changing moment.
So tell me about the trading. How you say it's not like day trading is what you're talking about, and it's bigger than that.
Well, they call it
Dive
day
deeper
trading. I
with
call it you if
your
you, okay.
definition of it for us.
I like a lot of people say day trading. I think you're a trader. You can trade
Okay.
for the big banks, which you're called the institutional trader, where you take their money and you trade for them. At the end of the year, they'll give you a salary, of course, and they'll give you a bonus based on how much you made on their money, right? So that's institutional traders. Then you have what I call retail traders. We trade for ourselves and we find all the tools to trade for ourselves and we make money for ourselves. You just do it through a broker. And now the brokerage is are loving the people because there's no commission. It used to be all commission based, and now they've changed that. Now they're going to charge you a little bit if your routes are quicker, but depending on how great a trader you are, it can still work for you in ways that it's never worked before. So I don't call it day trading. I call it you're either an institutional trader or you're a retail trader.
Okay. So for someone who's never done it before, what would you say is the first step they should take? And how would you discern, should I be doing this or not? One, do you feel it's for everyone? And two, if not, how do you differentiate if you should be doing it or not?
Well, I don't feel it's for everybody because everybody can't take what I call the thrill of the chase. I love it, but it's too much. One of the things that I do at Symbol Trader Pro is I let people come in a day, come in the trade room. Let's let you see what we do and how we make money. I usually, because of proprietary reasons, I only let them in for 5 minutes, just like, and they see how quickly money is made, and they're just like, whoa! Either that's too much for me and too quick for me, or they're like me, they just love it and are ready to quit their day job. So I get one or the other. I think everyone can benefit from it because it makes you smarter. Trading makes you smarter. All those things that have been going over your head all the years, all the news, because everything is based in our economy, especially the U.S. economy, on trading and on investments. So everything matters, and you begin to look at things differently. I think it makes you wiser. I think it makes you smarter. And yes, I think everyone can do it. My ideal customer is someone who's never traded before and wants to trade now. We've done the analytics. We've talked to all the brokers, and we are number one in our field of taking people who have never traded before and educating them the best, and they stay with trading the longest. Also, people who have traded but have not been profitable, come see me. because a lot of people they think that they can Google their way into money. They think that they could, find a friend their way into, and they don't know, they don't really know, or they'll learn terms, but they don't know how it works. And so we do something different at Simple Trader Pro. We bring you in, we teach you, and then we sit with you live. We live trade with you, which is what nobody really wants to do. So we do that thing, and then we loose you in about 30 days after you've been with us live trading for 30 days. Then we'll just, like, you're on your own. Most of them stay with us in our live trade room, which is our money maker. I'm not going to lie, it's our money maker. Come trade with us live because we do all the sectors. But a lot of people, if they want to do on their own, at least they're equipped.
That's fantastic. And I
Yeah.
think it's a blessing when you said they're either interested or they're not. Like, you're going to love this or you're not going to be interested, because I think with a lot of business avenues, it's like, well, there's all these varying degrees of, like, let's take real estate. There's so many ways you could do it. It's like, well, I like this, but I don't like this. I don't like this. And it's just like, you know what I mean? When you're going, they either love it or not. That's awesome, because now it's easy to identify the right type of person, because I do know with some of the things that we do,
Mm-hmm.
and even way back when I was in college, it was, for example, live streaming, video production, special effects, book publishing, all this. There's so much. It's very intellectual. And there was people getting up. I'll never forget this. It's kind of funny to me, and I was even laughing in class. But there's people who, everyone knows of Photoshop. They were getting upset at Photoshop, and it's basically like 1-2 commands. Now, found it calming to be in 3D animation and special effects, where you're dealing with lighting, XYZ axis, movement, time, shadows, ambient occlusion, all these different things. So I love the complexity. It actually
Yes.
kind of calms me down. And I'm hearing a lot of the same stuff where some people just, it's too much, where we can look at it and go, oh, this is fun. What about this, that, the other thing? Even now, if you saw what I was doing to produce the show, it it's a
Yes.
lot.
It is a lot, but I also think that it's not just, can you know the fundamentals or the technicals and things like that? Can I move quick enough? The deal is, do you have the mentality? Because a lot of people are afraid or deal
Mm-hmm.
in fear, or if trading makes you act outside of your character. Because if someone is telling you that they are, 99% money, they just get it, and then you don't, which is not true. Just like all the people who said GameStop, we became gazillionaires, which is not true. Um, if trading causes your character to change, and because what if something happened and something dropped, or you were not able to get out of a trade? We sort of deal with that. But what if something happened? Would you feel like, I need to jump off the window? So everybody does not have the complexity of character to handle this job. And if so, just say, that's not for me. It would cause me damage. Versus, so keep your day job and try investing versus trading, because there's a difference. Try in trading, we're in, we're out. We make our money, we go home. You make your money, I asked, you made your money, go home. Because the more you sit there, the more there's a chance that you could give it back. You made your money today, go home. Or, trading's not for you, it's too quick. Let's teach you how to invest, because we have a side that teaches you, the tools for investing. Yeah.
Let's talk about that mindset, because that's a good point. Because with any business, you definitely need to have the right mindset for it, not just the specialized knowledge, but the wherewithal to
Yes.
continue on when things don't go right. Because if anyone thinks business ever always goes right, sadly mistaken. But what do you look for in that mindset? And for someone listening, what would you say characteristics they have to have and embody already, and skills they should learn going into it, so that way they don't get overwhelmed necessarily? Because I think there's some people who might be, obviously, if they're interested, cool, and if they're not interested, cool. But I think some people in any industry want to do it, they're capable, they just need a little bit more information, because it's more of that unknown factor. How do we
Yes.
bridge that gap for them?
Well, there's two ways. First of all, there are people that are doing very, very real trading. I think that's why a lot of my colleagues have been asked to then go to the brokerages. They don't have Series 7 licenses, which is how I started my business. Because my business was, I worked at this hedge fund in the summer, but then the ballers came in, the Series 7 traders that had come from Wharton, that had come from Harvard, that had come from Princeton. but they did not know how to trade. So they would send them to Rosetta and say, teach them how to trade. Well, if you don't have the personality to take a loss, then really this should not be, you should be in management, you should be in administration, you shouldn't be a trader on the floor. Because if you're a trader on the floor, you've got to know how to handle yourself, whether it's up or down. But there's a couple of things that I do tell people. First of all, do your own due diligence. Make sure that this is what you want to do. For somebody like me, who, most people go on Monday, they're like, oh, I got to adjust to work. For me, I'm like, it's Monday. Let's go. The biggest day of the week. Where did you go? The biggest day of the week for traders. Let's hit it. But I also understand the risk. So that's why I take new traders and I say, listen, I can teach you three things. And I live by this, Mario. I live by it. I can teach you how to trade anywhere in the world. I can teach you how to trade and never lose your principal if you follow the rules. And I can teach you how to trade your way out of an ordinary life into an extraordinary. So number two, how do I teach you how to trade? There's just a few things, a few clicks that would always have you out before you lost the principal. If you could just handle that rule, you would always have something to trade. I mean, you would only get bigger and not smaller.
Wow, that's
But
fantastic.
no one is
Claim too. Never lose the principle. Good for you.
Never lose your principal. Period.
I think a lot of people like to do that.
Absolutely,
some
because
people
that's the
say,
difference.
I don't want to lose what I was anticipating making, but there's other people going, I lost everything.
I lost everything. I had someone call me last week, someone I didn't even know heard me, and they said, listen, I was in a trade. I said, what was the trade? They said DWAC, and I lost my whole retirement. And I said, who have you been trading with? So sad. But this is the deal. There should be, I asked him, I said, did you do A, B, C, and D? And he said, no. I said, did you know to do it? He said, yes, but I didn't do it. And so then it becomes gambling. When you have when you know to do the right thing and don't do it, then it's on you. We teach you to do the right thing.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I appreciate everything you've been sharing so far, and I did want to mention, I want to thank you for your dad's service. You mentioned it a little bit ago, but I didn't have a chance to say it. And the other thing is about the investing side of this. Is there any certain platforms that you recommend people get started with?
You can get started with any platform. For investing, you can get started with any platform. I would hope that you would find somebody that is qualified, somebody who can say, this is what we do, A, B, C, and D. For my trade side, which I really focus on, they already know 9 times out of 10, they know what to trade. But for the investment side, I do quarterly and annual things that I will tell you. This is, if you get in here at the beginning of the year, this is what you should expect. And 9 times out of 10, they've done well. So you have to find somebody that you trust, that knows the market, and it's not just going to lead you down any type of willy-nilly way. That's going to say, here, go here, 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 and here. And this is what's going to garner you money. This is the best way to invest.
Excellent. So I want to ask something else, dive deeper with something you mentioned about the live trading. That sounds fascinating, and it sounds very visual, which is my favorite. Do people need to be in your physical location to join the live trading, or is this something they can jump on Zoom or some other system and just watch through the computer screen as you're doing it?
Well, let me just say, when we started Simple Trader Pro in 2017, we went live. Everything before it was fashionable was online. So my trade room was live day one online. But it runs like a real trade room via like you were on the floor. So before the market open, we have pre-market. We go through every one of the sectors. We go through mid, small, penny, small, mid, large cap, mega caps. We tell you what's on route for the day. Listen how good my trade room is. We've got institutional traders who have been putting their ear in to see what we're doing. So must be something. We have in 2020, in December 2020, I was working on a new system because I'm known from the ability to back test. And so I was working with an AI company. They were going out of business. I ended up buying the whole business. So I have a whole AI side, artificial intelligence, that helps with the trading. So our ability to forecast is just as good as anybody out there. Our ability to forecast for the next 12 months is just based on whether you're looking at the Fibonacci, 30-day, 90-day, 200 EMA. We have the best. We're as good as any major bank on the floor. So a lot of people know how to trade. So I don't need to teach them to trade, but they come to that trade room because we have the hyped up best knowledge out there. And we have probably, we're very quick. So information hits our board sometimes before some others.
That's fantastic to hear.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're passionate about it, and it sounds like you're just growing it by leaps and bounds. Did you say that was virtual? Like, if someone's in California,
Yes.
can they go log in somewhere to get to access to this?
Absolutely. You can, but we have people come every day. So, in California, I'm East Coast girl. So California is 3 hours before. It's at 9:30 when the bell rings. It's 6:30 there. They're already there. Matter of fact, we start the pre-market at 8:45. So they're already there with us. They're already there, 5:45. So, it doesn't even matter. Anywhere in the world. And let me just say, we have people from Dubai. We've got a lot of Canadians. We have Australia. We have the southern part of the hemisphere. We have people from everywhere in our trade room.
That is fantastic. I'm glad you're taking it global and helping so many people. Now,
yes,
a couple other questions I'm going to ask, but one of them is with people that have existing businesses, if they're interested in this. Obviously, we talked about the personality and the mentality and everything. How much do you recommend someone starts with, and what would their first steps be to getting started?
Take the course, make it an investment. It's going to be the best math, the best accounting course you've ever taken, because we teach everything in this course. We teach you where to sit the money, how to sit it so that you don't incur capital gains taxes. We teach you what to tell your employees. We teach you how to create IRAs, Roth IRAs that you can trade out of. We teach you from A to Z what to do so that your money will work for you. So take the course. It's the course. For some, it's a lot of money, but for a business owner, it's the best thing. Take the course and learn how to trade yourself and learn how to set yourself up correctly. That's number one. Number two, after you've taken the course, again, hang with us for 30 days. Go come into the trade room and trade. And when you're ready, I don't let people just trade, because your money is you took you a long time to make it. And I think I can listen to you without seeing you. If you say, I get in, I can tell you what kind of trader you are. So I try to find out what kind of trader you are. If I can find out what kind of trader you are, I can tell you what to do, because some people are biased long. Some people are biased short. Some people are great shorters. Some people are biased long. If I can listen to you trade for a day or so, I can tell you what kind of trader and what's going to be best for you. And then we scale up. So if, let's just say, you already know the PDF rule requires you to have $25,000, and I don't care how much money you've got. If you don't really know how to trade, I don't let you trade that. So I'll say start with 5,000 or 10,000, and let's see if you can double that. Let's see if you can let the rules work for you. And then if you're very good at that, then we'll up the game. Then I'll release you to trade on your own.
Fantastic.
Yep.
So out of all the people you've helped, who would you say is your biggest success story?
I think that I have a few. I had a woman who just took her last dollars and just was at the point where she should be thinking about retiring, but because of life circumstances wasn't able to. And she took her money, she invested it in the course. Within a year, her life had changed around. She quit her job and is trading full time. Let me just say this. My assistant that works for me, before we started Simple Trader Pro, I've done it for so many years, but I changed my method. And what I did was I pulled about 12 people who had never, ever traded before in Florida and said, come, let me just teach you how to trade. They didn't even want to trade. I was just like, can I teach somebody who has no clue of what trading is? My assistant, she worked at a place in Florida called the Swap Shop. She was cooking, a little young girl. She was cooking, and she was working 12 hours a day, cooking at this little flip-flop house. And she came and took the course. She had been selling insurance on the side, tried to get her insurance license, came and took the course, took to it like a duck to water, and became so good that I hired her. She works for me, Tony, and her life has just totally been changed. Oh my goodness. So I'm telling you, I've seen it firsthand. I have so many that I could tell you, but what I'm trying to do is take people who would have never had access to trading, and just make it an opportunity with the rules now to change their lives.
That's fantastic to hear.
Yeah.
And I had the pleasure of talking to Tony also. She seems very nice, and I love the
Yes.
success story. And it reminds
Yes.
me of someone else that I had on the show, Kimberly Maska, and her success story. Um, she took someone that was just, in a bad place, completely changed her life, and same type of scenario. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
We have two questions, and I started correcting myself because I like to be specific. I used to say I got one more question for you, but it's not true because the first part is yellow or black.
Yellow.
Ooh, fantastic. All right. We're going to see what kind of yellow question you got here. Which one do you think it's going to land on?
I'm game for either
Okay.
one.
Yellow. Where do you think society would be in 10 years from now if they started teaching some of this in school earlier on? And why don't they?
Because if you think about it, how many people, can I ask you something, Mario? How many people have you ever
Yeah.
met? I mean, you're probably in the industry, but that have said, I'm a trader. How many? Just, I'm a trader. Very few, right?
Yeah, I was going to say a couple dozen.
And then if you say, teach me what you know, they never give up their secrets.
I know a
They,
few that have actually told me I should get into it.
yes. But had they sit down and told you?
I've been busy doing other stuff. I didn't take
Okay.
them up on it. I think a couple would if
Yes.
they did.
There's, but
But
there's
I get
the,
what you're
that,
saying. Overall, most people aren't like, here's the secrets of everything.
yes. So it's been a very closed off thing. The stock market is a never ending $1 trillion business every year. So what happens is if you don't have access to it, then you don't get the benefits from it. And so my job for someone who's had access is to make sure that everyone gets access to it. And so that has been my passion. So, and when I mean access in little ways and big ways. Usually, if you're a person of color and you have, $500,000 sitting in the bank, people are saying, where did you get that money? You must have sold a house. You must have done something. If you're a white person, they'll say, you need a personal banker. Let's see what we can do with your money. And so let's see where we can help you invest it. And so sometimes it's just a matter, little tweaks that give access to people. And so this trading does that, and it empowers people. You probably, I don't know if you know, but I just believe if you're working a 9 to 5, you go to work the same way, you come back the same way. You have a mortgage, you have college to
You
save
usually
for
come
your
back
kids.
worse because you're not happier at the end of the day. But
You're not. You're not. So I always say this, your ability to dream is gone. And so what I think trading does, it gives people the ability to dream. Can I just answer your specific question? We have what
please.
is called Generation Z. I believe that if kids could learn to trade especially people of color, could learn to trade earlier, they would go to college. College would be paid for because they could pay for it. I believe that they wouldn't have to worry about a drug being sold. They wouldn't have to worry about a bad neighborhood. I mean, the whole generational wealth mentality changes because day in, day out, even if you had a bad day, you know how to make money. And when someone teaches you trading, there's nothing. My grandmama used to say, if they can't take from you what you know. And so if you know
I
how to
agree
trade,
100%. And that's powerful.
yes,
I feel the same way about entrepreneurship. I always liked serving people, helping people, adding value
Love
to them,
that.
finding their problems and solving them. And I was selling stuff even before I officially started my first company when I was 12.
Wow.
So going through even part of middle school, high school, I sold that company when I was in college to start this one. So ever since I've been, it's not that, it's surreal to think how long it's been, but since early on in life, it wasn't, oh, I wish I could go to the movies or buy that thing from the vending machine. It was just, I always had the money because I earned it, and I
Yes.
saw the correlation of if you're willing to do something and add value. And it's not just to say add value because you'll get the money, but that was just natural. I was just looking for things. It's like, holy crap, people are paying me just for doing what I was probably going to do anyway for them.
Yes.
So I think it's very powerful that you're saying that, because now it opens the doors, especially at the pivotal turning points. And you're saying college is a threshold. That's a
Yes.
huge one, because that can, I know people that had everything paid for, they had the money, the families had it, they didn't do jack with it. And
Nothing.
I know on the other side, there's people who wish they could go and they don't have the money. I think both scenarios are horrible.
Yes, I do too. But I don't think it's an end all be all. I think that also, I think
I'd
trading
agree
gives you the
100% too.
opportunity. If you can trade, if trading is not your passion, but you trade, it gives you the entree to then do flip homes if you like, get into real estate. It gives you the entree to be another entrepreneur over here. But it's a better, can I, and I'm not a braggart, but I'm going to tell you my first trade, um, um, years in, well, my first trade with this company, just to make sure that it was running smoothly, was a stock. It was like $3 at the time. Now it's 194, 170 something, AMD.
Oh,
I
the
I
processors.
yeah, micro.
Nice.
Yes. So I got in and I took AMD. I had 1,000 shares, and in 3 seconds, I'd made $1,000.
It's pretty quick.
And I was like, I was by myself, and I turned around and I like, what? Let me do it again. So I got into HTZ at the time, Hertz, and boom, I made $800. So the bell rings, bing, 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 bing at 9:30. By 9:33, I'd made $1,800, and woo, I was done. So I say this to you to say, um, the once I knew that, I felt like I needed to share it with everybody who feels like they have to be a college graduate. They have to, because I just should, the 10 things I wish I knew then that I do now, that this is an open door that can change your life and allow you to dream again. And that's what I want to give people.
Hmm.
So when you're talking about your
Love that.
entrepreneurship and your giving, can I give you the best gift of let me teach you to do something that once you know it, no one can take it from you, and that will allow you to make money every day, because this stock market is not leaving, from equities to options to crypto. Come on, because there's nothing but money in it. We had one of our traders, October, the third week in October, second week in October, make $1 million in crypto right here. We all jumped. If we all jumped. We've had that done several times where people have made $1 million in a day, including myself. So you can do this. It is doable. I just need you to teach you the foundation, and it can be a great opportunity for families to shift now into something greater.
Well, I'm so glad you're making it accessible and you have the courses and the training.
Yes,
And, because it's one thing to know it and do it. And by all means, for people who are doing it and that's all they're doing, good for them. It
good for
takes,
you.
I know what it takes to be successful. And it's like, it can chew you up and spit you out. The fact that you're doing it it's a huge accomplishment. But I really, really do love people who say, I'm going to do a book, I'm going to do a course, I'm going to do some videos, I'm going to do whatever to share it in, sharing the wealth with everyone, because
Yes,
there's no requirement that says you have to. But the
yes.
people who do, I think, really truly are making the world a better place, like yourself. So we're going to come thank our sponsor and come back for the Imperfect action round.
Okay.
You're already the expert, but have you transformed your expertise into a tangible asset that will generate and qualify leads while increasing profit for you 24/7? And if so, how well are you promoting it? With the Expert Authority Effect publishing method, it's easier and faster than ever. Visit freebusinessbookpublishingcourse.com today to learn the 7 steps to publish and promote your nonfiction lead and profit-generating business book in 8 weeks. Visit freebusinessbookpublishingcourse.com to get started now. Once again, that's freebusinessbookpublishingcourse.com. And we are back with the imperfect action round. Rosetta, are you ready to take imperfect action?
Absolutely. Here we go.
So I got 3 questions for you. Rapid fire answer, 60-second or less. The first one is, what is the fastest path to the cash?
Trading, straight up. You're not going to get there any faster. Yeah.
Number 2, what is the biggest problem you see your prospects making and the fastest way for them to fix it?
Getting rid of old mentalities. The fastest way for you to fix it is don't let any old person in your ear. Go with your gut. Go with your God-given tendency to always take you to the next place, and become yes people. Go through the door. When the door opens, run through it.
Excellent. Number 3, what is the best way to maximize customer lifetime value?
Tell the truth.
Love that. Love that a lot. Well, with all the books I've helped people publish, I always love asking which ones have made the biggest impact on their life. So, Rosetta, what books have impacted your life and business the most?
Oof, I'm a book person, so there's so many. There is, oh my gosh, there's so many. So, believe it or not, I'm a big, I think, the autobiography of Frederick Douglass was, for me, life-changing. I think it's a great book. It tells about a hardship and overcoming the hardship, and the mentality to look at it and not let it scar you. A lot of times we're looking at stuff and we're letting it scar us. And I think that if you could just shake that off and keep moving, that's how I think also older people keep getting older. They let nothing so permeate their spirit that it causes them to melt. And if you can just take every day as a step by step with the, some days are leaps and bounds, some days are step by steps, and enjoy the process. So that the autobiography of Frederick Douglass, I think I'm an autobiography person. I think that there is believe it or not, there's a Christian book called The Final Quest. Now, everybody's going to give me a look at it, but it talks about opening your eyes to see some things that maybe will help you grow. It's not for everybody, but it's a Christian book. So those are just 2 that I think that are great since yeah.
Well, yeah. Christian books are good. I like the Bible.
You know that the Bible's number 1. I read it every single day, and I live by it, and I try to speak it because it's everything. Yes. And I'm a proud, unapologetic believer. Yes.
Good for you. Same here.
Yes.
Amen to that.
Yes.
Thank you for those recommendations. Where would you like people to learn more?
I would like people to learn more at simpletraderpro.com, simpletraderpro.com. You can come there, but can I just say this? I grew up in Kansas City, Missouri, the Show Me State, and you can talk about stuff all the time. Kansas City is called the Show Me State. So what I try to do is, if you really want to learn about trading and you're not sure about it, you've done your due diligence, you just don't know, go to simpletrader.com and it'll say, spend a free day in the trade room for us. I can only let you in one day for proprietary reasons, but come spend one day trading with us. My IT people get mad, but I want people to see how this is done. And once you see it, there's one thing to talk about it, it's another thing to see people really make money real quickly every day. And therefore, it is the catalyst to whether you do or you don't, but you have seen it with your own eyes. So, yes.
Excellent. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. And thank you for the links. Thank you for mentioning everything you have. And I really enjoyed this. Thank you
And
for
may
your
I just
time.
say to you, can I say one more thing?
You can,
I
yeah.
just think this is one of the greatest shows that I've been on. It was so fun. And thank you for the invite. So appreciative.
Well, I appreciate that. I put a lot into this, and that means a lot. So thank you, because I know there's a lot of shows out there, and there's a lot of shows out there. So thank you for
Yes.
liking mine. All right,
Yes.
Expert Authority World. We have another great episode here today. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day, and God bless.
God bless.